5 robot lions come together to form an ancient robot warrior, which is the only line of defense against the ruthless King Zarkon in this classic 80s cartoon reboot. Johnnie Torch Reviews, Voltron, Legendary Defender. Voltron was one of my top favorite cartoons as a kid, probably second only to He-Man. I remember Santa giving me a huge remote-controlled Voltron robot for Christmas one year. I had the figures from the robot lions that joined to become Voltron, and I had the blazing sword that had Keith say, "Form blazing sword," when you pulled the string. Heck, I remember having the Voltron Easter egg die kit to celebrate Easter one year. No joke. So with my Voltron cred firmly established, I have to say, I would truly love this new series, if I never knew anything about the original Voltron show. I guess I should start with the positives. The animation is fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic. I love classic 2D animation, and I really wish we got more of it made, or at least made well, here in the States. The action was very impressive. There was some CGI involved, but it was fine, and I really liked the design of the Robeasts as well. My favorite of the team has always been Lance, which given my track record is probably unusual. I've always been a fan of the stoic leaders like Leonardo and Cyclops. But Lance is more the wise guy hotshot of the group here, and they did a tremendous job with him. I loved every minute he was on screen. I also think Hunk was done justice. He's responsible for a good portion of the comedy, and he has a big heart. Speaking of comedy, I was impressed with just how well the humor went over. There were a few jokes that were a bit juvenile, but on the whole, the humor worked. Then, however, are my negatives. Now, I've never been one to shy away from my dislike of race changing and gender changing, and this show has them both. I already mentioned in the trailer review that I don't really like the species change Allura went under here. She was such a beautifully drawn character in the original show, but here she's like an elf with pointy ears and white hair and pink triangles under her eyes, and can change her skin color at will. Maybe, I hope and pray, she can use that skill to change her appearance into that of the real Princess Allura next season. And I didn't really like the sort of commanding, semi-British voice they gave her. B.J. Ward gave her the perfect voice in the original, and they didn't even try to give her that kind of delicate voice here. I was just disappointed that they managed to ruin one of the most important characters in the show. And then Pidge. For no earthly reason, they decided to make Pidge a girl. I had a feeling something was up early on when they wouldn't show us the picture of his quote-unquote girlfriend. But I also had my suspicions when they casted such a female-sounding voice for the character. But I figured they just wanted to make him sound really young. I mean, I'll admit Pidge's original voice did sound a little dorky. "Keith, there's a Robeast up ahead!" I figured when Pidge was looking for his brother it would tie into the story like in the original where Pidge's twin brother is actually part of a second Voltron robot that's made up of several vehicles. But this is another unnecessary change that serves no real purpose. Even after Pidge comes clean that she's only been posing as a boy, it changes nothing. She doesn't begin to look or act any different afterward. It's just a swerve for the sake of it, and it's ridiculous. I wasn't too upset that they changed the character of Sven to Shiro and made him a leader of sorts, because I figured they'd have him written out at some point halfway through the season and Keith would take his rightful place as Voltron leader. But no, Shiro goes nowhere, and Keith really feels marginalized because of it. He gets a little focused near the end of the season, but he's basically stuck in Shiro's shadow through the entire thing. He basically got Sven's role here, and Keith deserved better. I really wanted to see him grow into the leader role, but he really got no development beyond some amusing arguments with Lance. Allura's father and the Palace Mice were a good touch. I wasn't really thrilled with Karan being changed from the stoic elder statesman to Mr. Jarvis, essentially, but I could live with it. He brought some laughs. It got a little slow for me at the midpoint when they were doing that whole arc to save Balmera. I get that they don't want to have the show be as formulaic as the original, so I didn't mind that Voltron wasn't formed in every episode or that he wasn't always successful in combat, but I did miss the sort of old-school transformation scenes in every episode. They didn't ever refer to themselves as the Voltron Force either, but as Paladins, which seemed very odd. I don't get why they do that these days. It's like Cap can't say, "Avengers Assemble," or Mikey can't say Cowabunga. Now the team can't say, let's go Voltron Force. They sort of did the OCD thing of matching the pilot's jumpsuit colors to their lions, which it never bothered me too much that they didn't match in the original show. In the 90s, they went so far as to change the members' jumpsuit colors, but not their lions. But it does raise the issue of what they're going to do if Keith ever takes the black lion and Allura takes the blue. Does that mean Lance takes the red? Or does Allura? I thought Zarkon was given a very generic design. I did like that they said that he was the Black Lion's original paladin. That sounds interesting going into the next season. The season ends pretty unresolved. Nothing really changes or is accomplished. There was a suspicious absence of Lotor here. I don't know if they're saving him for next season, but he was a big baddie in the original series, and his presence here was sorely missed. So in the end, it was a lot of fun seeing just how great a Voltron cartoon could be, but it doesn't quite get there if you're an old school fan like myself. And it's really sad because this show really had the potential to be a mind-blower. But I have to say, their deviations to the source material really knock it down to middle-of-the-road status for me. And the sad thing is, I don't really think another season can rectify all the issues I have with it. I'm giving Voltron Legendary Defender 3.5 stars out of 5. This is Johnnie Torch reminding you, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll form the head.